Hey guys, if you are store owners, then you know that you probably have many tasks that can be automated or delegated. And with the help of AI, we can do quite a lot of stuff. In this video, I want to show you one specific use case so that you understand what we can do. And it's something that you can implement as well, like very fast. What I'm talking about is the question, where is my order? By customers who already bought something. And this is a task that usually would rob your time because it's very repetitive and it's always the same sequence of tasks, but AI can manage it in a very healthy way. So we will use Voiceflow, which is the chatbot. It will connect itself to WooCommerce, which is our shopping system. WooCommerce will look up the order, return back the information to the customer, and it's basically done. And it sounds quite simple, but it can be extended to many other areas. And also I will show you the technical details, and you will see that it's kind of tricky, but if you know the systems, it's not so tricky at all. So let me show you the example, and then you will decide if it's actually useful to you or not. All right, this is a store that I set up, and it's just an example using WooCommerce. And down below we have this chat bubble. So if I start the chat, I can chat however I want, but at some point I want to ask, where is my order? And the chatbot will automatically understand it. Even if I ask, what about my purchase? Or where's my purchase? Because this is AI, it will understand the context and it will reply similarly. And now you see that the chatbot understood the request, but he asks for an order number, which makes sense. And now let me show you that we actually have some orders. We have, I think, 2 orders, 148, 147. Okay, let's assume it's 147. Everything happens now real time. Voiceflow connects to WooCommerce, and this order is found. It shows you all the details. I didn't set up any specific information to retrieve, so the chatbot automatically assumes that this is the needed information. And now we can see this is indeed this order. And now look at that. And if I just ask, what about 148? So I didn't even say that I want to check another order. I just say, what about 148? 148 could be anything, but because of the context the chatbot understands, I probably want to check the order. And as you can see, that's right, he checks this number. And he even returns the tracking number. So as you can see, it all works correctly, super fast. And this simple task can save you a lot of time. If many people do the same, then you just have some less work to do. All right, let's start the implementation. And for this, we go to voiceflow.com. This is the chatbot that we will use. Simply sign up or sign in if you have one account. And as I mentioned, or maybe not, this tool is for free to start and you can test it out a lot. They give you free tokens. So now we have some projects and I will just enter a new one. Order retrieval, yeah, we have it already. Let's create it. And I chose the basic template. It's already implemented, so you will see that we will start not with an empty node, but we already have a customer support node, which is this, it's this agent. Like you have many blocks you can add on this canvas, and the customer support chatbot, like one basic example, it's already there. You can imagine that this green button is the start point that initiates the flow when we click on the chatbot bubble. So when we click on the bubble, then it will open up and we are greeted by this bot. And this bot, it's an agent actually. This agent has all of these instructions. It's like you have a human and you explain to him how he should work. And this prompt is the instruction. and the agent will follow this prompt as close as possible. For our case, you know what, let's just delete it and generate a new one, a very simple one. You are a friendly e-commerce bot. Be polite. And then we can say something like, you can retrieve orders from WooCommerce. This is optional, I don't think it helps, but let's just say it. And now you see that Voiceflow helps you write a prompt, actually, for your bot. And this is the prompt. So you prompt to write a prompt. And this is cool, this is very fast. And if you don't like what you read, then you can add something up. And we actually already... we can also try something, I never tried it. Your name is Johnny. Just a random thing that will hopefully work. Let's test our bot. I want to show you now that it's actually really like a human. It's not a static bot, it's very fluent. And I can ask what's your name, but I can also ask, do you have a name? Yes, it was Johnny. You see, even he says he's a friendly e-commerce assistant. Nice. Cool. But now we can already ask him, where is my order? My order. To find the information, I need to search a system for you. Blah, blah, blah. Provide something. So let's say order number 148. But I'm not finding the specific information. This makes sense because we didn't set up the connection to our store in WooCommerce. And that's what we are going to do right now. First of all, you need to understand what's an API. An API is a set of functions that a software offers so that other softwares can talk to it. Like imagine WooCommerce is a house, and then somebody comes to that house and knocks at this house, a person. And WooCommerce opens up the door and asks, what do you want? And the person says, I want to get the information about this specific order that is in your database. And then WooCommerce asks, okay, cool, but who are you? Can you identify yourself? And if this person has the correct identification, then WooCommerce can give the information about the order. So this person that knocks is Voiceflow, and WooCommerce opens up the door. Of course, there are many doors, many possible information that are stored in WooCommerce, and you need to knock at the correct door. How do you find the correct door? Well, in technical terms, you have to go to the API of WooCommerce, and it's this website, and you see this is the REST API, and let's say this list on the left, these are the possible doors. We want to knock on the door for orders. So because we want to retrieve an order. So we find the orders, and then we go through this list and find retrieve an order. Cool. WooCommerce gives us the opportunity by calling this URL to retrieve a specific order. Nice. And I'm telling you this because we will use this part of the URL, which is, in our analogy, the door to knock. But let's go back to our agent and let's give him an API tool. It's like a function, okay? So this is the function that we'll use if it seems appropriate. Let's call it WooCommerce get order. And the agent will use it automatically when he thinks that you want to get an order from the store. What you need now is their URL. So the URL is basically the house and the door for Voiceflow to know where to go. The house is your base URL of the shop. So in this case, it's this one. This is the house, and now we need to knock at the right door, which is the door for getting the orders. So you can see WooCommerce v3 orders. And now, as you can see here as well, this is the placeholder for the ID. But we don't know the ID right now. It will be given to us during the conversation with the customer. So we just create a variable. We can call it as we want. It just should resemble our goal. We open up the square, you put the name, and you close the square. And so now Voiceflow would know if you call this URL, he will try to get the order with this order number. And now comes the tricky part. You remember when I told that the person needs to authenticate or needs to identify himself, because basically everybody could knock at the door, but not everybody is allowed to get any information from the shop, right? Because security, data privacy, and so on. So we need to authenticate. Voiceflow needs to tell to WooCommerce, it's me and I'm authorized because I have the correct keys or whatever. So this is now maybe the trickiest part, but if you just follow along, you will understand. We will go back to our store and we need to access the API keys of WooCommerce. You will find it in the settings. You go to advanced. You need to go to REST API. And now you need to create an API key. API key serves as a sort of authentication because, as you will see, we will create the key within WooCommerce, and the Voiceflow then can prove that this key is something that WooCommerce knows. WooCommerce will accept Voiceflow's request. So let's create the key and give it a description. Let's name it get order. And the permission, let's keep it at read. Read means we just want to get the information from the database of WooCommerce and we don't want to change. So let's generate. And now you will receive these two long sequences of numbers and letters. And you need both of them, both of the consumer key and the consumer secret for authentication. This information is highly private. Never share it in this form on the internet. So yeah, I show it to you, but it's because I will delete it after the video is finished. So now we somehow need to give this information to WooCommerce, but we need to encode it. Because if there is a transfer on the internet, the information must be encoded. But first, let's go back to Voiceflow so that I explain where we put this data. In this request, in this API request, you see headers. And headers is some hidden information that we send with our request. So if we want to knock at a specific door and get the information, and WooCommerce will check the headers. The first header, actually the single one in this case, we need is the authorization. As you can see, it's already pre-selected if you start typing, so you can write it here. And now comes the tricky part. We need to put our key somehow inside of this value. But of course we need to encode it. It cannot be in the raw form as you see it right now. But before the key, we have to write the word basic, which indicates that we want to use the basic authentication. It's some sort of norm that has developed on the internet, and everybody knows if you want the basic authentication, we know what to expect. And now what the system will expect is this key in an encoded version. So to encode it, we will use this website base64encode.org. And the way it works is we copy this consumer key, paste it first, and then we write a colon, which is 2 dots. Then go back, paste the consumer secret, paste it right after. So we have the key and the consumer secret separated by a colon. We click on encode, and what we receive is a much longer sequence, and this is what we need. We paste this one right after basic, and that's basically done. So our header is set and our URL is set. Let's test it out. And now Voiceflow will ask us to provide a sample order number, and we know we have, for example, 147. Let's run it. And if we succeed, as you see, we now have all this information about the order in JSON form. Let's check if it's correct. So the name is Jan Jansen, and there we go, first name, last name, and everything is correct. And let's run it with 101. This should not exist. WooCommerce shop invalid ID. Cool, works. And let me also show you an example. If I delete even one letter, which is the capital Y, and then try to get the 147, I expect it not to work because the authentication went wrong. Cool, works as well. So let me add it back to it. And what we have done right now, we provided a new tool to the chatbot to use. So if a customer asks a question about getting the order, the agent will check which tools do I have available. Like, you can set up a lot of tools, but the closest that comes to the meaning of the request is the new tool that tries to get the order from WooCommerce. We can directly test it. Okay, let's go directly into the topic. Where is my order? Now what we expect is receiving the same question about the order number. That's correct. Let's go with 148. Now this is the moment of truth. If no, actually we tested it already, so we know it will work, but this is what it will look like in a real conversation. And there we go. So you see, it worked. Awesome. And now what we need to do is, now you decide what you want to do. Usually you would go to interface, and the super easy part to implement this widget on your website is to copy this code and put it somewhere as it says before the closing body tag. So in this case, maybe you need to ask your developer, or maybe if you are tech savvy, you go to the website, to the code of your website, and place this widget in your website, and then easily you will have this widget down below. And that's it. So I hope it was clear. If you have questions, post them. You can also reach out to me if you have questions or suggestions for other topics. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.